guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley and this is Worth the Read, where we talk about books that are worth your time reading. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. Let's get right into it. Today's video is a book versus a movie. A book versus the movie. In my book versus a movie series, I compare the book versus the movie, clearly. So we always start with the book. So I'm going to start by saying I am not a huge Stephen King fan. Not at all. I think his books are entirely too long for no reason. And I think that they're interesting once they start. The plot starts to get moving. But he does a lot of back details in his books, which some people enjoy. I tend to think it's a bit too much. Now, Dr. Sleep, the pros. I give Dr. Sleep 3 stars. Meaning, it was okay. Now, Dr. Sleep has been critically acclaimed as not being one of his better books. If you don't know about Dr. Sleep, it's based on the life of Dan Torrance, who is the son of the main character in The Shining. And he's grown, and he's an alcoholic, and he has a shining. So he has special abilities. He can communicate telepathically. He can see people's death on people. He has different special qualities, which we call the shining. And in this book, he ends up running into a little girl who also has these abilities, but are 10 times more powerful than he is. And her name's Abra. And she uncovers a group of people that she refers to as vampires that feed on children who have the shining. And the main plot of the book is to try to save Abra from these people who have now discovered her, and also stop them from killing future people. So that's what the book is about. Now, I listened to this book on audio because I told you I do not enjoy reading Stephen King books. They're just entirely too long. And it took me a long time to read this, listen to this on Audible as well, because I just get bored with his novels. That being said, after listening to this book, I did enjoy the plot once it got moving. The story about Abra's abilities and what her communication with Dan, and then I enjoyed the people, the sub-characters in the book that helped them defeat these vampires. It was enjoyable. I do give it 3 stars. As you all know, my Worth the Read rating is 3.5 and up. It's worth your time reading. I do not believe this is, as long as the book is, I don't believe it's worth your time reading. Especially if you're not a Stephen King fan. It's just another long novel to me. Now let's talk about the movie. If I had the choice going into this, or if I suggest to people, if they have to pick one, the book or the movie, I would definitely pick the book. I always pick the book. The book is always seems to me better than the movie because the book does give you more detail. In this case, the book and the movie are 2 completely different beasts. I was expecting this movie, to at least be similar to the book. It's not at all. This movie is basically has nothing. The plot, meaning Abra has super abilities. Dan is an alcoholic and also has abilities. And there's vampires that are torturing and killing children for their esteem. Is the only thing that this book and this movie have in common. And that's it. Now, I'm going to get into some spoilers. The book is old and the movie is already on demand. So if you haven't seen it, I'm going to talk about spoilers. 1. Dan dies in the movie. He doesn't die in the book. I don't understand why screenwriters change such drastic parts of a book to make it a movie. Why kill him? Number two, you kill everybody in the movie, and only people who die in the book are the vampires. Now, Abra's father is killed in the movie. Dan's best friend is killed in the movie. And Dan is killed in the movie. None of these people died in the book. I don't get why you felt the need to kill them off in the movie. Okay? So, whereas though the movie is more of a group together to fight the vampires, whereas Abra's doctor, Dan's friend that he becomes friends with that helps him get clean because he's alcoholic, and Abra's father. 4 men that are battling these vampires. And they go on a road trip in the book to battle the vampires. And then later on in the book, her mother and her grandmother, who to me is a small role in the book, but is a major character because she's the link between Abra and Dan. If you did not know the book, Abra and Dan end up realizing that they're family. He's her niece. She's his niece. And they find this out later through Abra's grandmother on her deathbed. And the way the book kills the vampires is much more entertaining and interesting than the way they did it in the movie. They kind of dumbed the book down for the movie, and I understand you need to make it cinematic because it is a movie and it needs to be interesting, but if you just stuck to the book, which was more elaborate than the movie, I don't think the movie would have such bad reviews. And I think, of course, the movie has such bad reviews because people who love Stephen King movies are people who enjoy reading Stephen King novels. And for someone who does not enjoy reading Stephen King novels, I was expecting to see the movie. I was expecting the movie to be better than the book because I don't like Stephen King novels. And I was shocked when I sat after 2 hours and 30 minutes of watching this movie and was just like, okay, that was not the book. I don't know who decided to make such changes, but you didn't change things for the better. It kind of was worse. How can you make something that's already not that great and then make it into a movie and then make it worse? I'm confused. Now, the battle scene in the book, there's Dan and his best friend, and also Abra, but Abra is not physically there. She is telepathically putting her body, so she's in between her body and the place that they're battling these vampires at the Overlook Lodge, which is the hotel that was in The Shining. Now, they end up killing a large group of the vampires, they're called the Knot, and also the main lady, which is the lady with the hat, Rose. Now, I was looking forward to visually seeing this battle in the movie. Okay? It was very entertaining in the book. And they totally just decide to make the ghost from The Shining that Dan has locked away in his mind because they were haunting him, and let them kill the one vampire, Rose. And that's it. That was the whole battle scene in the movie, which totally eliminates Abra's grandmother. Abra's grandmother in the book gives her last breath to Dan. She dies of cancer. But she gives her last breath to Dan so that he can, in part, kill the rest of the vampires by exhaling her breath, which is full of cancer, and letting them breathe in, and which in part kills them. That was entertaining. The fact that Abra is fighting these vampires or assisting Dan to fight the vampires while her body is physically sitting at home with her parents would have been entertaining. But they do none of this in the book. In the movie. They do none of this in the movie. In the movie, Rose, they end up killing all of the vampires except for Rose in her route of the knot. Rose comes to the Overlook Lodge. Her and Dan fight. She cuts him with the axe and he starts to scream, and his steam, his shining starts to come out. She starts to feast on it. And then he ends up unlocking all of the monsters that tormented him as a child, and they come out because they're back at home in the Overlook Lodge, and they end up killing her. It was just basic. It was basic. The battle scene in the book was so elaborate. It was a plan. It was a plot. It was thought out. It was, there was some time to, figure out which direction they should go in and any possible, wrong steps that they could run into with it. They thought about it. In the book, it was just like, okay, we're going to kill her. We're going to let the ghost from the hotel kill her. But in the book, the ghosts from the hotel were not a part of the book at all. Needless to say, I did not like the movie at all. I was upset that I paid for the movie because it's not on Netflix, it's not on Hulu, it is on Amazon Prime, but you cannot rent it. You had to purchase it. So I had to pay $20 for a movie that I hated with a passion because it was nothing like the book. It was they should have named this movie something else. It was not Dr. Sleep. Needless to say, I did not enjoy the movie. The book was readable, but the movie was a waste of time. If you have read or seen Dr. Sleep by Stephen King, let me know, comment below. How did you feel about it? Were you just as much in awe of the fact that they just totally did what they wanted for the movie? They didn't follow the book at all. How did you feel about it? Or is it just me? Comment below, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. I am currently reading Autumn by David Moody. Yes, this was the other book that I had to choose to flip between the book I was reading previously and this one. So this was the one that did not win the coin toss, so I decided to read that next. That's on my whole process of selecting what books to read. I flip a coin. It's just easier for me. And that's it. Hopefully the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. I'm rooting for our former Eagles, former head coach. So go Chiefs. And everybody have a great and safe holiday. Super Bowl Sunday is not a holiday. It should be. Everybody's seen the commercial when they say that Super Bowl Monday is the most called out day of the year. It probably is. But have a great Super Bowl Sunday. Comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you're reading. We're out from Worth to Read. Peace, guys.